Hola, good morning. Mental health isn't a one word, but I'm gonna have to do it like that to make sure that everything holds. Because I don't know how else to do it. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Mornings with Ruth. I know I have been absent for a very long time. I have been unwell. I've been under the weather. Oh my goodness. I have been so unwell. Um, this reminds me of a certain time in 2019, 2019, 2020, when everybody was getting this horrible cold. So I've had this horrible cold for weeks. And each time I think I'm on the up and up, each time I think that I am getting better now, something happens and I'm just not. I'm either coughing, I'm sneezing, I'm blowing my nose. There's something. So I sound very nasal. My voice it has a little raspiness to it that's not normally there. I'm still coughing. But then today I decided enough. Enough is enough. You're gonna show up. And you're gonna show up while you're healing. You're not gonna sit and wait until everything is 100% perfect. You are gonna go ahead and shut. And you're gonna do that now. So here I am today. So happy to be here with all of you guys. So happy that you join me this morning as we get ready and we talk a little bit about lifestyle and the impact that has on our mental health. I'm also going live. I'm also going live on um my what's this, my YouTube as well. So for persons who want to join me on YouTube, you can, because I know that some people don't have TikTok. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not sure how long, honestly, I'll be able to stay on because the more I talk, the more I cough, and it's 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 a lot. It's a lot, which is one of the reasons I have not been on. Oh my God. Ooh. Oh, I don't know, guys. I don't know. But I'm here for now. And I'm going to make the best of the time that I have here with you guys. Jaja. It's crazy. But today, as I mentioned, we want to talk a little bit about mental health and our and how our lifestyle impacts our mental health. Now, I believe in therapy. I believe in getting the help that you need. Maybe I should put something over my shoulders, maybe. You know, if you come from country like me, where your grandparents say, "Mine you catch up cool in your back. You need to cover your shoulders, cover your lungs." So let's do that a little bit. It's not looking aesthetically pleasing, but our health matters more than aesthetics, right? Oof. Yeah. So today we're talking about lifestyle and how it impacts our mental health. Things like the time we go to our bed, who we talk to, what we talk about, what we eat, how much time we spend on social media scrolling. Do we actually rest? And I'm talking about resting outside of going to bed in the night, outside of sleeping. When do you sit and pause and you cancel all the noise? that's happening in and around you. That is what I mean. And even your belief system. What do you believe in? Who do you believe in? What forms your worldview? All of that has an impact on your mental health. And for someone who has experienced depression several times and anxiety and all of that, hey bro, you learn after a while that yes, we need help. Let me just quickly point this out. Sometimes we do need to, yes, go see our therapist. We do need to get that help. For some people, sometimes there's a little bit of medication that is necessary in all of that. But what I know for a fact, though, is that what we do on the daily is going to impact how we feel on the inside. Is going to impact our mental health. Case in point, the other day I was really, really feeling low and down, and sometimes without even wanting to, we get caught up in our own minds, we get caught up in our heads and in our thoughts, and we really don't reach out to other people as we should. And that was my situation, and I decided to just move, because sometimes when we're going through what we're going through, or mental health challenges, if we sit too long with it, sorry, if we sit too long with it, we find that it creates deeper roots in our lives, and it's harder for us to move on. So for me, I just jumped in my car. I didn't know, I wasn't cray cray. I just jumped in my car as I was in my cute little 90, and I just drove. I went for a drive. Ended up calling a friend of mine. She was going to another parish. She was going to St. Thomas. I ended up going to St. Thomas with her, and we went into the bushes. We had coconut, we had cane, and I felt so much better. And I think that sometimes myself as well like to say, we're distracting ourselves from the things that are happening to us mentally. But it is in the same way that your spouse or your friend cannot give you everything you need in a relationship. It's the same way you have to get and curate different things in your life to impact your life so that you can live a fuller life. So that way you're not that focused on all the things that you think should be going another direction. You're not so focused on the things that you think are going poorly. You are focused on the now, on the living, on the doing the things, on eating the right food, because yeah, the hope of fast food and so is not just physical health that is not good for. Like guys, like think about your mental health. Think about the things that we put in our bodies and how we feel after we consume them. So today, that is really what I want to talk about. I want us to really focus. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Ooh, thank you, Breezy. Thank you, guys. You can thank you for the likes, and you can feel free to become a part of my club, my fan club. I really appreciate it. So in this season that I'm going through, and if you guys have been following closely, you may know that yes, I've been going through a very interesting season, a rebirth season, and it's not even a reinvention of Ruth. It's a season of stepping into who Ruth really is. And yes, I'm talking about myself in the third person. And what I've learned during this time, thank you, is that when life shifts, when our income shifts, when our routine shifts, all of those things can have an impact on our mental health. And sometimes it's not just the trauma, it's linked to the lifestyle. So something happens, but what kind of lifestyle do we have as a result of that? Do we define the time that we actually sleep? I have on my phone blocked out times, right? That should stipulate when I do things. I, for a while, have not been following those, but our brains need structure. It needs something to follow, something to go by. Yeah, so we need to define our lifestyle, and we can do it together here today. We can define it and break it down into different patterns, different habits about when we go to sleep. What kind of food we consume? Are we consuming ultra processed food, or are we consuming healthy foods, whole foods? Is movement a priority in our lives? Because exercise and movement helps us in our daily lives, on our social connection. Who are our friends? What are the conversations we have with these people whenever we are around them? That is so important. What are our digital habits? I know that I need to wean myself from certain things. How much time do you spend on social media? I have put a timer on mine, so I spend a maximum of 2 hours. And sometimes when the 2 hours finish, I'm like, oh, give me an extra 15 minutes. The 15 minutes is up, and it's like, okay, you spend 2 hours and 15 minutes. The time is up. We have to do things that create some kind of boundary in our lives, or financial structure. How do you manage your money? A lot of us don't know. We were never taught how to manage our money. But now that we're older, we have to go out and seek that lesson ourselves. We have to figure out how do we manage our money, because whether we want to admit it or not, money plays a vital role in our lives. Money is going to determine a lot of things in our lives. Yeah, because even the lifestyle that you want requires money. So how will you legally and morally get that funding? And when you do get it, how are you going to be a good steward? How are you going to manage that money? How are you going to make your money make money for you? And how are you going to create a healthy relationship with money? For some of us, myself included, I need to learn to decenter money. It's important, and not forget about its worth and its importance in my daily life, but also to decenter it a bit, because sometimes we're so hell-bent and focused on chasing the paper, chasing the money, that we do not focus on anything around us, and we miss out on all the things that are great in our lives at the moment. Yes, my bro, I have the flu, the awful one that will not go away, and I've taken way too much medication, and I'm still not better. I've taken homemade remedies. I've taken medication from the pharmacy, and it's doing this. It's up and down. But you know what? In the midst of that, I'm showing up today. And for everyone who's joining us, it's 7:37 in the morning. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining. This is Mornings with Ruth. I'm Ruth, keeping you company for the next hour or so. And today we're talking about the correlation between mental health and lifestyle, how we live, what we do our daily lives look like, what do our weekly lives look like, or monthly lives, and can we track that and see how it interacts or impacts our mental health. For example, when we don't sleep well, and I know that some people struggle with insomnia and all of that, but poor sleep can increase our anxiety. It increases our irritability because we are not rested. And we know that it's important to sleep and rest so that our body can repair itself. And if a body is unrepaired, then we're trying to go around and get the best out of a body with cells that are not up to the task, cells that should have passed through our systems already. And sometimes even if our blood sugar crashes, that impacts our moods because we're not eating properly, we're not aware of what's happening with our health overall, and we're not taking care of it. Some of us have cholesterol problems. We're not taking care of those, and those are going to impact how we feel on a day-to-day basis. Sorry. And I know that a lot of us are sedentary. We go to the office, we have our 9 to 5, and we sit at that desk for the entire day. We go into the office, we sit at our computers, we probably get up to warm our lunch up. Some of us may leave the office for lunch, some of us may not, and then you sit right there and you eat. And even if you go into overtime, you sit there. If you drive, you go out to the parking lot and you drive home. You get home, you're so tired, you're so spent. You go to the restroom, you back the bathroom, you shower, you go to bed. How much movement has taken place? Not a lot of movement, and our body needs that movement in order to function efficiently. And I do say to give us some of that dopamine that we so readily need from time to time. And while it's important to be able to spend the time with yourself, because I do that, spend the time with yourself, get to know yourself, be quiet with yourself, be honest with yourself. Everything must be done in moderation. So when that is not done in moderation, it becomes isolation. You have yourself imprisoned, and that in and of itself can amplify overthinking. So you're not having conversations, you're not walking, so your mind is focused on nature and stuff like that. You are sitting indoors with the four walls, and it feels like you're suffocating, and all the negative thoughts come rushing. And negative thoughts are like weeds, they don't need any gardener to help with them. They're gonna grow up, they're gonna spring up regardless. Good thoughts, on the other hand, are like the plants, the flowers, the food, the crops that you plant. They need attention. They need to be manned. They need to be fed and watered, and the soil tilled. So we have to curate that in our lives. It's not just going to happen by chance. We have to curate the life that we want. And we live in an age of overstimulation, of too much information, of scrolling endlessly online and consuming. And I think that we are consuming too much, and consuming too much, and consuming different versions of people's lifestyle. And then you start imagining different things for yourselves and all of that. It's too much. Honestly, we need to sit back a bit. We need to pause on how much content we are consuming. And to be honest, even though mine is mostly like go self-help and developing yourself, even if it's mine, like sometimes you just have to pause from consuming and maybe try to produce something for yourself. Use your mind, use your creativity. Don't put anything off. Just get up and do something, just one thing. I have this mantra that I go by, and it's called just one thing. Like, I'm not trying to do everything today. I'm trying to do one thing. So what's one thing that I can do that's gonna boost my mental health today? I probably need to get up and move. What's one thing that I can do? Which video, guys? Did you send me a video? If you send it to me, I'll have to go seek it out. I don't think I've watched it. I'm just really just trying to get on the up and up. Um, what was I saying? I've lost my chain of thought. I've lost my chain of thought. But a quick example is that if you go to bed at 1:30 in the morning, every single morning, right? And you wake up, you feel exhausted, your brain is not functioning well, you feel sleep deprived. How can you therefore go into the the day and really capture the full essence of the day? How can you, when you go to that meeting, whether or not you were prepared for it because you went to bed so late, your brain is so deprived of sleep, you're so tired, you can't hear anything properly, you're falling asleep, you're not responding when you should, and then that can bring on some kind of anxiety because you're like, oh my god, I'm here and I'm not performing. And then we start thinking about how people view us, what they think about us, and how we are showing up now, and all of that good jazz. So it's important that we have structure in our lives. And this includes, hi Ricker, good morning to you. I'll have to look for the video. I'll have to go look for the video, okay? So if we need to fix our sleep, or we need to have some discipline with our sleep, we need to have a fixed bedtime. I have a fixed bedtime that I've not been honoring, but my body has been determined to do what needs to be done, and so sometimes I just fall asleep. So we need to have a fixed bedtime so our brain knows that okay, guys, I might soon gone. Might not be able to stay very long. This coughing is getting more and more. Too much for me. So daily actions that we can do: fix our bedtime window, and we've heard this many times before, but to limit scrolling. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I gotta blow my nose. Give me a second. I'm so sorry. That is not cute, guys. I'm so sorry, but I am determined to be here and to come as I am. And as I am unwell. So sorry. Ugh, it's a little gross, but thanks for staying with me. So maybe you can work on no scrolling before bed. Maybe reading a book, because that does not require a lot of input like that. It works your brain. Reading is hot media, so it's a hot medium. So reading is going to have you thinking and all of that, but it's not constantly getting information flipping across your eyes and all of that, and even the light from the phone. So you're going to turn that off. And when I say read, maybe not read from your phone, maybe read a book. I know that some of us have our Kindle and all of that. I think you can turn it down to look like a page or something. So let's do that. And let's set the room up for rest. You turn your lights down low. Reminds me of Bob Marley's turn your lights down low. Turn your lights down low. Prepare yourself for bed and romanticize that. Like, I get to go to bed at this time. I get to go to bed in my beautiful, beautiful, whether it's double king, queen, California, whatever bed it is, and you're just so grateful. Your sheet looks nice. You may even want to, I was about to say light a candle, but maybe heat the candle. We don't have the candle warmers now because I don't like the soot that comes off for your nostrils. When you breathe that in, it's not good. So warm the candle, make your room smell nice, and then you go to bed. Turn off the light. Maybe listen to some white noise. For me, I have to listen to, not, I don't have to, but if I'm struggling to sleep, I will listen to a thunderstorm. And that does it for me because I love the pit pit patter of the rain and then the crackling of the thunder in the background. So I listen to a thunderstorm, and that really regulates my mind and help me to sleep. And the better sleep I get in the night, the more awake and aware and there I am in the morning. And when you wake up in the morning, do you have a morning routine? Or you just get up and scroll and whatever happens, happens? That has been me for some time. But I'm like, Ruth, I know you gotta do better. So if you are someone, depending on your belief system, you believe in God, you want to get up and have your devotion, whatever religion you're a part of, or no religion at all, but you do want to get up and you want to meditate, then you should do that. And that should be at like the first part of your morning in the quiet before you've consumed anything else, those quiet moments spent with you, yourself, and the God that you believe in. So you pray, you meditate, you stretch, if you're able to go for maybe a quick walk while the morning is still quiet, while the birds are just getting up, then that's perfect. If the sun is out, and for me during this time where I've been unwell, the sun has really come in clutch. The sun has really helped me. Like when the sun gets hot outside, I just go and sit for a moment. And honestly, we're like plants. We do need the sunlight. That vitamin D that hits me gets me over my hump, gets me feeling better for a long time as well. And maybe journal. Not a lot of people are into journaling, but in the last couple weeks or months, I found that I have been journaling a lot more than I was for a while. And just to get the thoughts out, because there are no good or bad ones, just get them out on a page. Sometimes you just need to get them out of your system. You need to read them, find a place for them. You can always revisit them another time, but for now, that's all you are doing. So we need to regulate our nervous system before the world gets a chance to see us, or before we get a chance to touch the world. So get up, do your meditation, do your prayer, listen to your soothing music, maybe do your affirmation, have a shower, stretch, exercise, and then get ready to tackle the day and to move your body daily. Maybe you can't afford the gym fee, and that's okay. Outside is free. Outside is free. Go for a walk. Walk in your community. If you can't walk in your community and you live close to a park, walk in the park. Go to the emancipation. If you live in Kingston, that is. Or maybe you go to the school that you went to as a kid. Maybe the primary school has a field, or the high school, and you can use that. Find out if you can, and you go for a walk. Maybe link up with people in your community who want to walk or who walk as well. And you can get up and you can go for a walk. Where's my asthma pump? Because I'm feeling a little. Yeah, do your dance breaks. I do dance breaks all the time because I just need to lose myself in the music for a minute. And I do that. And do your stretches because the movement is going to help to reduce your anxiety. It's going to help with your physical health. And we know as we get older, the more we need our muscles, and even how that can help with our memory, because a lot of people struggle with dementia. So even trying to do some brain exercises from time to time. You hear something, do the math in your head from time to time, and just doing stuff like those. And as it relates to eating, Jaja, I think that's a big thing for a lot of us. We don't eat well. We don't eat well at all. And we are what we eat. And so a lot of us are addicted to sugar. We're not consuming enough protein. We're protein deficient. So that means we're losing muscle mass. And we don't want to lose our muscle mass because that impacts our health overall. So we need to make sure that we do the shift. We need to have a rich diet a diet rich in protein, A diet rich in fiber, because then you need something to clean out your colon to pull all of those stuff out. You don't want it to just sit there. So yes, protein, but yes, fiber, to make sure that it's coming out, and to also ensure that we are consuming enough water, because sometimes we don't drink enough water. We're drinking, "Oh, I'm just gonna have a glass of wine, or I'm just gonna have some orange juice," and all that sugar or blood sugar is spiking. And for people like me who have been impacted by insulin resistance, even though for years I didn't consume a lot of sugar, I don't know where the sugar came from, but the sugar was there. And so I've had to reduce, and I'm encouraging us to reduce our sugar intake, reduce the overly processed food. Caleb, I'm doing something now, baby. I'll come to you later, okay? Okay. And we have to ensure that we drink water, and even drink water before you drink coffee. For those who must drink their cup of coffee in the morning, who feel as though they need that, and I don't know, maybe you do, maybe you don't, I don't know. But you should know, but just have some water first. And as close as you can to eating whole foods, then that should be what you want. Because a healthy gut is going to impact how you feel. Because when your gut is bloated and you feel awful and all of that, I'm telling you, there's no way you're going to feel chirpy and nice and want to smile with anybody when you're bloated. There's no movement in your gut. Your stomach feels like you're starving, because you know when you get a sugar spike, blood sugar spike, and then plummets, then you feel like, oh my god, I haven't eaten, I'm starving, and then you feel for something sweet again, something ultra processed, and that's just a negative cycle in your life continuing. And we also need to create digital boundaries, and we need to create physical boundaries as well. We need to create boundaries at work. We need to create boundaries with our friends and family. We need to even create boundaries with ourselves. Yeah. Things that we stand by, things that we know don't serve us, and to man our own gates. So many times we say we have these boundaries, but we don't enforce them. So we need to enforce these boundaries. As it relates to the digital boundaries, the social media, maybe after 9 or after 10, you're like, no more social media. I've signed off. No more doom scrolling. No more even texting. Like, unless it's an emergency, don't call me. Like, that is your time to really just sign off from the world a day. Yeah. So just have a low, I was about to say visibility, but it's not visibility. Reduce the time that you spend on social media significantly. We need to cut down on the noise. There's too much noise that's happening in our lives, too much that's coming in, too much that's requiring processing, and not enough time just being with yourself and even existing as you are and figuring out who you are. And as I talk about boundary, I think it's important to talk about curating our circle. I talk about this a lot. It's important to have people around. I know this because sometimes just a conversation and sometimes even being quiet with someone helps a lot. But at the end of the day, who are these people we're around? Because sometimes people need to knock us out of their lives, yeah, because we're not the best person for them. And it's the same thing for us, where while we work on being the best version of ourselves that we can be and who we are at this moment, because I feel like sometimes we focus so much at, oh, I'm gonna become this and that, but who are you now? Like, you are this person now. Is there nothing great, is there nothing awesome about who you are now? And to curate your circle, who are the people that you want to be around you? How do these people make you feel? How do they show up for you? What do you require in these friendships? And do you show up as that same kind of person in these relationships as well? Because that too is important. Sometimes we want the best people, but we're not the best person. And so we have to work on that. We, we have to work on being there for people. We need to work on being a good community member. We need to know when to show up. Yeah, we need to know how to show up because we're learning these people who are around us. And in the same way, have these people around us. Yeah, because our mental health requires that we feed into it. And it's called health. So when we talk about physical health, we talk about the things that we eat, we talk about movement and exercise that impacts our mental health, but it also means who are we talking to and what are the conversations that we're having, and how is that helping us mentally, because we know how we feel when we hear certain things. So we need to dissect those. Why does this thing trigger me? Figure it out, and maybe not be around something that triggers you, or maybe that will help you to figure out what triggers you. You fix that issue, and then you're good to go. So it's all figuring out yourself. And some of the daily practices that you can do as well is to send a voice note from time to time, to call a friend or a parent, and to sit in real conversations. So you can create these conversations, like maybe once per week you're gonna hang out with a different friend, you're gonna have lunch, you're gonna grab dinner, or you're just gonna have this friendship call where you just catch up with each other. You talk about lifestyle, you talk about issues. And guys, I find that we need hobbies. Oh my god. Listen, as kids, and kids go through mental health issues as well. So sometimes parents love to say, why them I go and stress them not have nothing to worry about? Excuse me, kids have things to worry about too. It might not seem that important to you, but our kids go through life as we are going through life, and they're impacted by things as well. But you know what helps? Hobbies. Do you have a hobby? When was the last time you went outside to kick rocks? When was the last time you went to play football with some friends? Do you play badminton, tennis, anything? Do you go hiking? Do you sew? Do you do pottery? We need hobbies, guys. All of these, we're so multi-dimensional. There are so many things that need to feed our soul, and we're trying to find it in one place. And I saw it work. And I saw it work at all. So we need to fill our lives with hobbies and things that we can do to take us out of our minds. And the good thing with hobbies too is that sometimes it gives us a good mix of several things in one. Because example, let's say you like to cook, and that's a hobby. So instead of just staying home and cooking, which you can do, or you come up with some new menus, or you invite friends over and you guys cook a meal together, or a spouse, or maybe you just go to this cooking class, and you meet new people there, you create new friendships, you create new bonds, and you're there, you're cooking. It's probably something you've never tried before, but it's new and it's good, and you're out of your house and you're out of your thoughts, and you're just living in the moment. So we need to create hobbies, and we need to show up and do these hobbies every single day. And I trust me, hold me to that one here. Me is no doctor. I mean, I'm doing my degree in psychology, but not there yet. But trust me, by moving, by having hobbies, by doing these things, you're gonna find over time, sorry, that you're not feeling the weight, the pressure of mental health as you used to, because you have different avenues of healing. This is your medication. The things that we do, our lifestyle, it's our medication on how we live and what we're doing in this life. Also, because finances, we cannot talk about finances, because finance has such a great impact on our lives, because some things you can't do if you don't have no money, and we just have to be truthful about that. So we don't want to avoid it. Check your account balance. You know, say probably $50 in there, but check it. No, for a fact. And plan out your money, like come up with reviews, review expenses, track how much you're spending. Okay, about KFC 5 times this week. Why? Why? You know, you could have bought a chicken, cook that whole chicken, and have chicken for the whole week. And I'm not saying that from time to time you probably don't want something fast food, or you want to treat yourself at a nice fancy restaurant. There is a space for that. But we still have to manage our expenses, because when we don't manage our expenses and we don't manage our financial life, then that can cause different strains on us, because you can't pay your bill. That doesn't feel good. You're gonna anxiety, like bill come, rent due, car payment, and you don't see the first dime. Stress, anxiety. So I have to fix that. We need to write out a plan. How are we spending our money? Do we need to get some side hustles? Do we need to get more money in? And to track our goal. What is our goal at the end of the year? At the end of the year, we're hoping we'd have invested or saved X amount of money. But what does that look like on a week-to-week basis? What does that look on a month-to-month basis? We need to have actual plans for our lives. I found that each time I've stumbled is because I never really had a plan. And I'm like, no, you need to have a plan. You need to work the plan. Is it that you're going to lose momentum? You're going to stress out if the plan doesn't go to T? No, because you have to give space for things to fail. You have to give space for things to work even better than you anticipate. You have to give space for evolution of you and evolution of things around you, where you know that a plan has to be tweaked because that's not you anymore. That's not what you want anymore. But you can change it as you go along, but only by going down the path, because that's the only way the path becomes clearer. It's by going on it. And I don't know about others, but I need the spiritual grounding. I've been on an interest an interesting spiritual journey, and interesting, not uninteresting, and interesting spiritual journey. And I found that, by grounding myself, by spending time with the creator, by acknowledging that, as Doji would have said, like, we have access to the source, the ultimate source, where there's no limitation, which means that there are no limitations on us either, if we truly believe that. So I'm tapping into that source. And you guys know that I do my gratitude. So every day I find something to be grateful for. These days I try to daily find something that, every day I try to curate a section of joy. Like, I try to create joy in my life. The other day it was with my friend's dogs. Like, it was just so beautiful. And I see why people have them dogs in their homes. I don't, but it was so great. They were just so loving, so kind. They were just there. They never cared about anything. It just felt so loved and so great. So create a gratitude list every day, even when life feels like it's the worst it's ever been. Write down something that you're grateful for, because you're alive today. You ate some food today. You still live somewhere today. You maybe drove somewhere today. So it doesn't matter how bad life gets. There are things that are going extremely well, and we need to focus on those. We need to write them down. We need to celebrate those. And if you do read the Bible, or the Quran, or whatever it is that you believe, you might have some scriptures that you go to from time to time. Things that are just going to give you a nice little when you need it. Maybe it's an affirmation. You find that, and you do your quiet reflection, where you sit with yourself and you calm the outside noise, everything, and you just sit for a moment, maybe 5 minutes, just 10 minutes, just ridding yourself of all the things that are happening in and around you, and just be quiet, just living in that moment. And maybe you need to stabilize your belief system, because it creates a great part of your identity, to figure out what that is, and bring that to life. It's 8:02. I'm coughing crazily, so I might say another 10 minutes or so before I go, right? But I just want to remind us that we are the curators of our own lives. And sometimes it's easy to blame others and feel as though things are just happening to us. And while I believe that, and know that a lot of things, outside sources, a lot of things will impact us that we did not go and tip our toes or fingers in. But because of the way of the world, we are integrated into society and the world, and things are going to happen outside of us that impact us that we never planned for. But a lot of things rest with us and how we respond to them. Not just react, respond to them. So yeah, you lose your job, but how do you respond to that? I'm not saying, oh my God, you're going to run out and celebrate. In hindsight, maybe a few years from now, you're gonna celebrate that. If that thing never happened, then you would not have been here today. But just to view everything as an opportunity to do better, an opportunity to walk a different path, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to meet new people, and just look for the good. Am I saying be naive and not be aware of things that require instant attention and all of that? Absolutely not. But in the same breath, I'm saying, let us be optimistic about life, because it's going to change. That's going to be the lens through which we view everything. And the more optimistic you are, the more you see good things. And the more you see good things, the more good things happen in your life. And the reverse is true. So let's focus on the good things. And just remember that you're rebuilding parts of your life right now. And you realize that income, before you stabilize your income, before you stabilize your career, your lifestyle first must be stabilized, right? Because there's a lot of vulnerability in even doing that. Because mental health, as we know, oh boy, my nose. Mental health, and a lot of time we think it's about fixing our thoughts. Our thoughts are our thoughts, and they're gonna come. And just like emotion, I'm always saying, let them come, let them go. Give them space, man. It's when we try to hold them hostage. Oh, I shouldn't have this thought. I shouldn't whatever, whatever. That more of it comes. So allow it to come, allow it to pass, right? And let us design our days for success. Let us get up, let us have things that we do for ourselves. Let's create those hobbies. Let's go out, let's meet new people, let's talk, let's try something new, you know. um let's just push ourselves, and in the midst of that, we're going to find that the kind of lifestyle that we create for ourselves is going to impact and enhance the kind of mental health that we have. I hope that today's program was helpful to you. I hope it has encouraged you, even just a little bit, to get on up, to create some hobbies, to do some things for yourself, to really show up for yourself, to create the kind of lifestyle that you want. And not in the future. I think this is after that I like Connor's story. And he was saying, you can't throw all your seeds into the future. They're gonna grow there. Like, what happens in the now? Like, you have to exist in the now. You have to create who you are in the now. Who you become is who you are now. So let's do those things. You get up, even if it's 5K steps for the day. Do that. You can raise it to 10, then 15, then 20, and remove some of the pressure, because sometimes we're in our minds too much and we're saying, oh, I have to go to the gym and I have to do that. No, you just need to go outside and walk. You're like, oh, but I need to do weights. You have water bottle, fill them up with water or sand or dirt, and you do your weights with that. Like, once we start looking for solutions will find us. Once we keep looking for problems, ultimately problems will find us. So we are in charge of our destinies, even when a lot of things are happening outside of us. So show up for yourself, create the lifestyle that you want, and you're gonna be so happy that you did, because your mental health is going to improve so much. They're gonna be wondering, why wasn't I doing this all along? Jaja. Jaja. And we have to learn to show up as well, even on time, in times when we don't want to, even in times when we feel physically incapable of showing up. Like, show up because your brain knows, and it's clocking our behavior. It's clocking how we behave and how we respond to things. And so we have to create this mental health, this strength internally, so our brains know that, hey, Ruth is going to show up because she says she's going to show up. And so here I am in this moment. It's 8:08, guys. I think the coughing is subsiding a bit, but I am not going to push it. I think I'm going to wrap the program up just as quickly as I can. And before I do that, I have to do our morning affirmation before I go. But I'm so grateful for all of you who came, who stayed with me, and I hope you learned a little bit today. And I hope that today is the beginning of you will boost your strength. Thank you, my little brother. So our affirmation for today is, as it always is, it says, I am grounded, I am centered, and I am whole. I rise with clarity, courage, and calm. I trust myself, I trust my path, and I trust the timing of my life. I honor my body with movement. I nourish myself with intention. I show up for myself today. I'm becoming the version of me I once prayed for. I'm determined, I'm disciplined, I'm focused and favored. And everything connected to my purpose is flowing towards me. So today I walk with confidence. Today I walk with grace. And today I walk with God. And that's it for today's episode of Mornings with Ruth. Thank you so very much for being here, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye. Ooh.